Hi there, my name is Roger from Tough Club Kettlebells. Today I'm going to do a segment called a 10-minute set with a champion, and we're here today in St. Petersburg, Russia, where I'm with five times world champion, Denis Vasilev. Welcome, Denis. Thank you for allowing me to do this today. So,
welcome, my pleasure.
Yeah, okay. So I just want to introduce just quickly a couple of facts about Denis. Denis, once again, like I said, five-time world champion. Now I read also that you were in the Marines, is that right?
I was.
You was in the Marines?
Yeah, in the past. It was 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Okay. Well, that must have been very, gave you a little bit more strict mindset.
Good life school.
Good life school, very good. He's best in long cycle. He currently discipline is long cycle with 232 kilos, so professionals. And he's best in is 101 reps. That's right. In the Orange Kettlebell County Club comps, and in the IUKL, it's 91 reps. So that's it's pretty damn good from what I can understand. So all right. So basically, what we're going to do today is just ask a few questions, just quick answers, so we can sort of tell the audience a little bit what champions are like and what champions are made of. Do you know what I mean? Because it's one of those things that I want to learn how I can always improve myself, and I'm sure the audience out there would love to know.
Same supplements as the rest of the people.
Same supplements as the rest of the video. You have to tell me which supplements after, alright? So what do you normally eat through the day? Starting with breakfast.
Well, today it's the oatmeal or porridge. That's my favorite breakfast, and I can add as the topics banana or jam or fruits. Quite carbo.
So a lot of carbohydrates.
Yeah, and the lunch is usually first and second plate. Well, quite traditional in Russia. Soups. Yeah. I like it a lot. It's like
borscht.
Yeah, something based on meat, and also with rice or potato, carrot. Well, just normal meal. And the second plate is meat or fish, and also with potato, mashed potatoes, spaghetti. Absolute normal food, and on the evening it's usually more protein, or it's the curd or eggs, 4 eggs. With cheese. Okay, with cheese. With vegetables as well, or just protein? Vegetables goes as the snacks in between these 3 meals. Bananas. I like fruits. For me, before the training, I like to eat hard. And a lot, like full-size lunch is okay for me, and in 30 minutes I'm ready to go. You're ready to go? Yeah, but after the training I feel that I want something light and juicy and fresh. And after the training usually I can drink a liter of juice, or eat some juicy fruits, like kiwi or apple or something like this. It's funny because you're actually very high in carbohydrates versus the rest of the world, or a lot of the people always high in protein, isn't it? So that's the energy, and in kettlebell sport we spend lots of energy by the physical activity and mental activity. Yeah. Our brain also burns lots of calories. That's why all kettlebell lifters, that's funny to watch, but all of them like sweets. Girls, men, don't matter, they are skinny or a little bit overweight, all of them like sweets. Yeah, I know I eat a lot of sweet after sometimes. Alright, what made you start kettlebell sport? What made you start kettlebell sport? It was quite accident, because from the very beginning I was in mixed martial arts. As a teenager, as a kid. I started to make sport from 6 years old, and then my teacher in the school, he's asking me to try to lift kettlebells, double 24s, because we have this championship of city for school. And my first test was 24 double jerks and 25 snatches. I was 24, and he said, okay, you can try. But I didn't really like it this much. I just give the respect to my teacher. I didn't really enjoy it, and it was 1998. But I feel that the beginning of my career as a kettlebell lifter is 2001, when I meet my first serious coach for kettlebell sport, Nikolai in Kaliningrad. and that was the beginning of my sport career. And I was already impressed by Eduardo Khamenka. He actually was the first professional whom I seen in person. He looks absolutely amazing for me, heavyweight champion, and that was the moment when I started to really like it.
So you saw a champion basically, and that would have influenced you.
That's the story. Yeah, because before I didn't really feel the huge sense for my own. But after that, I saw the beauty of the sport, and as far as more I started to like it.
That's good. And what benefits have you got from the sport, and how has it helped you in life? In that sense?
Everything. It's surprising for myself, but actually now everything that I have because of kettlebell sport. Of course, I have some experience on the past, and I have quite good education, few universities, and I'm sure experience on Navy and the fitness industry in general, of course, gives me the experience. But for now, I'm really focused on kettlebell sport, and that's my life and that's my job. Yeah. And I feel myself like happy because I do what I love to do.
You do what you love to do, exactly. That sounds great. So what age were you, and how long was it? What age when you started, and how long before you had your first competition?
Well, as I told, that 1998 was the first time when I just started to lift the bells, and I was 15 years old, and competition starts right immediately, like in a few months.
Okay.
That was the school competitions, but with 32s, my first competitions was on 2000. My very first competing result in biathlon in long cycle with 32s was 12 reps.
So you were 17 years old in your first competition, is that right? Because you're 15 and then 2 years later you were 17 years old in the competition.
Yeah.
That's good. That's very interesting. 12 reps, you said.
Yeah.
So now you're doing.
But on the next year, 2001, it was 42.
42.
Yeah, it was a huge jump because in between I started to train under the coaching of my first coach, and he gave me this methodology. And, I started to more experience.
Okay. Can I ask just quickly, this is not on the questions here, but is it in Russia, do they start competing at 32 kilos? They don't do 24 kilos?
There's some unique, brilliant guys who do 60, 70 reps in long cycle with 32 and 15 years old, like junior competitions. And as the answer for your last question, it takes me, say, 3 years to hit MS because, well, as I said, my serious training starts in 2001, and I get my MS license on 2004.
Okay.
And MSIC on 2010.
Yeah. So it's taken you.
From very beginning, almost 10 years. And I won my first championship of Russia in 2008. Actually, in 10 years after the start.
Beautiful. How many times a week do you train?
3.
3 times? Okay. There's a rest, so you train, let's say, on Tuesday?
My favorite is Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah, that's the best. I like to have the weekends free.
Off, and do you do anything on the Tuesday, Thursday?
Nothing.
Just stretching or nothing?
The last 5 years, nothing. On the beginning, when my schedule was a little bit easier, I have GBP. But actually, that's always the option, and that's the kind of personality which I am, because I have these 3 trainings, but it's quite big trainings. It's 3 hours long, and I like to make everything on the same training. Kettlebells and extra exercises and running and stretching, but someone like to have shorter trainings, but every day, for example, or maybe 2 times per day, morning and evening session. Morning session for kettlebells and evening session for gym. Just for myself, because I have family, daughter, I feel that for me easier to just spend this 3-4 hours once in 2 days, and that's it.
And you put it all in one, exactly. You collapse in time. Very good. And if, let's say, someone wanted to start the sport, what's the minimum time they could spend? You know, let's say they have a busy life and all that sort of stuff. Could they do the sport with just an hour, 3 times a week? You think?
Yeah, that's from what we start, and even it shouldn't be more for the beginning. Because if we have now experience of professional trainings, 3 hours is too much for us, and it grows. The time length grows slowly, and 3 times per week, 1 hour long. That's quite enough. It depends on the targets that we have, because if we have the target just to be healthy, even 2 times per week can work. But of course, for quite effective schedule, when it's 3.
3 times. What's your favourite exercise? I guess it's a long cycle.
Well, that's what we can think, and that's probably that I should think. But it's right now it's quite difficult question for me, because I'm at least respect a lot biathlon exercises, jerk and snatch. And of course, the favorite, which is closer to my heart, is long cycle. But I enjoy a lot snatch exercise. It's very technical. I feel it's like kind of intelligent exercise, because it's not this heavy physically, but it's lots of technical moments. You should be really well balanced and very focused. And I believe that it's really good for technical side of the athlete. And jerk as well is, I feel that even more technical and difficult as the long cycle. That's why I always make sure that I spend at least the same time in biathlon as in long cycle. It does not matter that I'm professional in long cycle only, because that's how my techniques gets better.
Yeah. What about outside of kettlebells? What about GPP? What's the favourite exercise? Like deadlift, squats?
Physical activity.
Yeah, what deadlift?
Well, that's what I can say about myself, that as far as less GBP I had. And before the master of sport level, it was a lot of GBP, and that's actually the advice for the beginners as well, who's not reached this title yet. We need to run quite a lot, and we should make these basic exercises every day. Deadlift, squats, push-ups, chin-ups, general exercises, and in special way which works for cyclistic sports. And the way how I do it, how my coach asking me to make these exercises, the weight of the bars not heavy, but it's quite lots of repetitions. Yeah. The smallest is 30 reps, not less than 30 reps, between 30 and 100 reps per set.
What exercise would you do that?
For now, still my favorite is for lower body squats, deadlift and jump squats.
Okay.
And for
30 reps?
Yeah.
What's the kilos?
It's also depends, it can be few types. It can be circle trainings when it's no any targets, then you just use average weight and it's just same from training to training. Or it can be kind of methodology for improve your results in sports. And if it's this kind of serious workouts, then you start even from the bar, 20 kilograms, and try to reach the heaviest weight. Yeah. But average for me is for squats around 60 kilograms. Something same with the weight of the belts.
And you jump squat that?
No, that's for deadlift and for squats. For jump squats, usually no extra weight if I hold the high pace, or I can do the jump squats with 72 kg belt, for example.
Alright, yeah, with 32 kilos.
Yeah, 72 is 24.
Very good. And you do 30 deadlifts or 30 squats in a row, or do you have a break, or just 30 in a row?
Between the 30?
Yeah.
No, it's the shortest set.
Okay.
And total for the exercise, it shouldn't be less than 100 repetitions every day.
Alright, okay.
So if it's 30, then it's 3-4 sets.
Yeah.
30.
I get it. Yeah. So 30 rest, 30 rest. Okay. I understand. Up to 100 reps. Okay. Yes. It's crazy. All right.
Depends on the weight of the bells,
Yeah.
the bar.
What's your? I think we're coming to the end here, obviously. But what's your mindset like? What's the mindset like when you feel tired and want to drop? Or you don't have that? I'm not sure. You know, do you have that? Do you ever feel like you want to drop the kettlebells? Or what happens?
I never drop the bells on the competitions, and that's absolute mental thing. If it's no any mistakes in your methodology, I mean, if the training process built correct, that you don't push yourself or your coach do not push yourself too fast to the heavyweight bells, that well, just the weight of the bells not capable for you. But that's just a mistake of the. It's not your fault if you drop the bells this way. It's the fault of this methodology, right? But it's happened not this often, and mostly that's kind of mental barrier, kind of challenge. And only the way for you to just going through is have no this option at all.
No option.
You shouldn't have this option in your mind, and that's why you start to think on the rest of the options. Because if you have the option to quit, well, probably do not matter what kind of troubles you will have in yourself, the grip or breathing or fixation, you will quit.
You quit.
But if you have no this option, then you start to think, what can I do for ease, I don't know, my hard breathing? And probably you will take your time on the rep. Or what can you do for ease your grip? Maybe you will shake the fingers. Like you just change the direction of your thinking. And of course it's hard. Of course we can say that this kind of ideas always in my mind, that why I just hurt myself so bad.
Exactly. Why don't I just drop? Why don't I let
Yeah,
go?
but well, what helps me to just keep lifting is trying to analyze what I did before, and I telling myself that look, you never skip any training. You always was 3 times per week in the gym. It's not the stories that you was 1 month off and now you're under these bells. And you're always working hard. You always lift the same bells. You always work with this pace and even higher. And you can do this. You shouldn't let this bad ideas go to your mind, and you just try to breathe and keep working. That's actually what I always try to, while the set, explain myself why everything should be all right.
Yeah, exactly. During the set, everything should be right. And I think that leads into the next question I was going to ask you. Actually, I think you answered it almost. But what do you tell yourself when you don't feel like training? You said, well, it's no option, basically.
Kettlebell sport is cyclistic sport, and that's why I'm always think about, for example, track and file runners. Then if this guy run 1 kilometer or 3 kilometers, he's knowing for sure that he will reach finish. And only the question is how fast he will do it. And the same story should be for kettlebell sport. That it shouldn't be a question for you that you're able to finish the set. And for you, only, well, how say this effort and the pressure while the set depends on the pace only. And that's why, for example, for me, if someone asked me to make 10 minutes set with 32s but with comfortable pace, I feel no any stress. Like pace, I don't know, 6, 5, easy. But if someone will ask me make the set with pace 10, well, that's what makes me feel nervous if I'm not warming enough or not in good conditions. That's why if I feel it's not in good shape, I just truly realize that it's not the time to push myself for some accurate pace. I just clean the bells and will work as fast as my body let me work. So,
so you don't push yourself when you don't feel.
We should be enough realistic. If you're not in good shape, then do not think about the pace. Your target is just to hit the time, and you shouldn't lose the control while the set. That's why it not makes sense to try your best pace on the first minute and then collapse and lost the control and probably broke the bells.
Yeah.
That's why you should be very careful from the beginning, and if everything will be fine, then probably on the end of the set maybe you can speed up a little bit, but beginning should be very easy if you do not know where you are in the conditions.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Alright, so what, last question, what's the number one piece of advice you would give someone that wants to start the sport? What's the number one piece of advice? So they're thinking about starting, what's the number one piece of advice?
To find a good coach.
Find a good coach.
Because
there's a good coach.
Well, I don't know,
international coach. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it happens that many very good guys get upset because they made some tactical or strategy mistakes on the trainings. They have no clear understanding what this sport is about, or they have no this basic knowledge about the total amount of time that they should spend with kettlebells, what kettlebells they should start to use from the beginning. Like, I don't know, for example, some unique, talented, strong guy, well, of course, if he will think by himself, he will start to lift 32s. But he will never be able to rise up his numbers from 10 reps to 90 reps if he will use only these 32 kilograms. And for sure, if the athlete in his mind, he will working super hard, but the effectivity of his trainings will be very low. That's why that should be the guy who will explain this main principle things of the sport. That we should start from the lightweight bells, that technique is very important, and then everything will be fine.
So no rushing.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
rushing. Yeah. So very good. All right. Is there, where can people find you once again on Facebook? On Facebook.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook by my name. You can find me, and yeah.
I'll have an email address underneath on the post anyway, and your Facebook link and all that.
Yeah, well, Facebook is quite public place,
Exactly.
and just do not. Well, I mean, everyone feels free to contact me privately on Facebook, write me the message, and if you have any questions, it will be my pleasure to talk to you.
Beautiful. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Dennis? Or say to the people of Australia or whoever else is watching this? I'm not sure.
I just want to say that I'm super excited to see how this sport growing, and from the very beginning it was a big surprise for me that it can be popular not only in Russia but outside. And it's a great sport which have lots of sense. It's very good for body, it's very good for our discipline, for mind, and I want to wish everyone who would like to try good luck. And yeah, this sport will make you better for sure.
Awesome. Okay, thank you very much, Dennis. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in the World Championships. All right, see ya.